The governmental controls of real property are PETE, P-E-T-E, police powers, eminent domain, taxation, and escheat. Those are the governmental controls of real property. Police powers is like zoning and planning. Why this matters? Protects the public safety, promotes orderly development, protects property values, reflects community values. And in New Jersey, where we operate under the Municipal Land Use Act, that law gives municipalities guidance as to exactly what they're expecting in terms of a planning board. And a planning board being of 7 or 9 members, creating a master plan every 6 years, or adopting or amending their master plan every 6 years. Example of zoning regulations as part of police powers are land use, building size and height limits, setbacks and lot coverage, parking and signage requirements, plan development and zoning approvals. All right, so the next letter in PETE is E, and that E is for eminent domain. Eminent domain means for the good of the kingdom. And for the good of the kingdom, the state of New Jersey can force you to sell your property. They do that through the process called condemnation. First, there needs to be a demonstration of public need. Then a project is authorized. Next, an appraisal is ordered so that the owner of the property can understand that they're being moved towards condemnation through eminent domain and that a fair market value is made. Quite often, there is a negotiation because that fair market value isn't always fair. Next, the property gets condemned and the government ends up getting the property. And you cannot stop this in most cases. And your title insurance does not cover you in most cases. Now, the government pays you just compensation. Sometimes if they only take part of your property, they pay you what they call severance damages. They pay you for the amount of property they cut off of your original. Severance means cut. And they pay you by the before and after method. What your property was worth before they took off the front 10 feet of your lawn and what it's worth after they took off the 10 feet of your lawn. And the other kind of condemnation is inverse condemnation, where the government does something that makes your property less valuable. And there could be compensation also for inverse condemnation. The next letter in PETE is taxation. And you have an obligation to pay your municipal real estate taxes in New Jersey. Only municipalities charge taxes, and they charge your taxes on your home by the assessed value. The assessed value is made up of a land assessment and a improvement assessment. What does property taxes do? They help provide for education budgets, for public safety, for infrastructure, for parks and recreation, and for community services. Now, municipal taxes are liens, and if they're not recorded, they still jump to first position. Due dates matter because you can be fined for paying your taxes late. Assessments can change. The municipality can change the assessment by reassessing the entire town, or you might be able to change your assessment by filing a tax appeal. And again, you have rights. We have a class on how to appeal your taxes. So if you comment below, appeal my taxes, I'll include you on that tax appeal class. The next letter in PETE is escheat. Escheat is the legal process by which ownership of real property is transferred to the state when no legal owner can be found or has died without heirs. So if you die and you don't have a will and you don't have any heirs, your property escheats to the state of New Jersey. Now, in my 30 years, I've had that happen a couple of times. The state of New Jersey ends up owning the property. And the state doesn't compensate anybody for taking the property because who would they compensate? They have no way of knowing. Now, I always like to show a gentleman who passed away. This is not him. This is a chat GPT representation. But if he has no heirs and he had no will and there's no claims, then the property goes to the state of New Jersey. Do they have to pay for it? Absolutely not, because they wouldn't know how to pay anyway. So if you'd like to get your real estate license, or if you'd like to know more about any subject, feel free to comment below or join one of our classes. We'll put a link tree in here so that you can kind of find exactly where we are. We'd love to have you in class. We have asynchronous classes that you do at your own pace, or we have classes on Zoom where I teach it. And I think those classes especially are a lot of fun. So certainly we hope to see you soon. Thank you very much, and thank you for watching.